All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Let's Talk Football. Monday, February 5th. Beautiful. Actually, it is a beautiful day here in Southwest Florida. Great news. We have great news. First of all, it's Super Bowl week. A little strange, man. I was a little bit more excited last weekend, but maybe it's just because the Pro Bowl, it's Pro Bowl week, whatever. Anyways, I finally figured it out. We're a little bit late today because I finally figured it out. This show will be on Apple after this episode. Maybe not directly after it. As always, welcome back. We're kind of trying this live show concept out. But I really want to push this on Spotify. And you guys have really blessed it listening to it. The link will be down below. Type in Let's Talk Football with my name in it, whatever. And yeah, I appreciate you guys so much. You guys are following it and rating it and reviewing it. I don't think you can review Spotify, but this will be live on Apple soon. I'll cook up the link in the comments when that happens. Anyways, pretty busy week. Coaches being hired, offensive coordinators, defensive coordinators, the whole 9 yards. Basically, we saw. So I cover the Raiders on a separate channel. I also have a Bears channel, and first pick in the draft, the Chicago Bears. And the Raiders were supposed to hire Cliff Kingsbury a couple of days ago. And then I wake up the next day and it's like, oh, that deal fell through and Washington's leaning towards hiring Cliff Kingsbury. And it was all chaotic to me. I was wondering if, a deal fell through or whatever the hell happened. And it ends up just being a contract dispute. So the Raiders pivot to Mr. Luke Getsy. Now, like I said, born and bred in the Chicagoland area, I was probably wrongfully so, I was very critical of Luke Getsy at various points this past season. Aaron, we're definitely going to talk about Jeff Hafley going to the Green Bay Packers. But Luke Getsy is now the offensive coordinator for the Las Vegas Raiders. And while I would have loved for them to do the Cliff Kingsbury move, they didn't want to give him a third year for whatever the hell that reason was. I don't understand why you wouldn't give Cliff Kingsbury a third season on his term. We'll talk about Cliff in a second, but I just saw this statistic. This is for my Raiders fans here, because you talk to any Bears fan, man, it's all up in my Bears video comments, et cetera, et cetera. Everybody hates Luke Getsy. Like every single person hates Luke Getsy. What I like about Luke Getsy's philosophy and scheme, his spread offense, is he likes to get the ball. He wants his quarterback to get the ball out as quickly as possible. And what we know from Justin Fields is that is not his forte. He likes to, the offensive line, a lot of stuff goes into it, but he will extend plays, right? Justin Fields will extend plays with his legs. And that's not really Luke Getsy's style. So I have this stat here. Passing yards per game, as we know, the last 2 seasons, the Chicago Bears, one of the worst. Actually, they were the worst passing yards per game with Justin Fields. Only 156.3 passing yards per game, dead last in the league. Rushing yards per game, Bears fans know this, elite level running back room, but Justin Fields is the quarterback who is a phenomenal runner. So take that with a grain of salt. But nonetheless, 159.2 yards per game running the football. The Chicago Bears last 2 seasons, that's by far the first in the National Football League. Here's the crazy statistic. Big plays in the National Football League for OCs. Luke Getsy, 241. And a big play is a rush of 10-plus yards or a reception of 20-plus yards. Tied for third in the NFL. Unbelievable statistic. So he's going to the Raid show. What's up, Josh, Aaron, Mr. 81, been a while. See your channel's doing well. Happy for you. But anyways, I'm pretty, I wouldn't say I was excited because I was a little bit disappointed that they didn't give Cliff Kingsbury that third season, but I am coming around to it, and I do like the idea of it. What does worry me is that I'm a little worried the Raiders won't take a quarterback in the first round. And I really hope, and this has nothing, I'm an AOC supporter, but I really don't want him to be the only quarterback in the room with like a Brian Hoyer and a Jimmy Garoppolo or whatever. And that kind of worries me a little bit. But anyways, neither here nor there. Cliff Kingsbury's with the Washington Commanders. Now, I love this. I'm a huge Bulls fan. So we got Elias G here in the comments for our audio listeners. Who do you think the Commanders will draft? So everybody, the Cliff Kingsbury hire is to me not indicative of Caleb Williams. Oh, now the Commanders are trading up for pick number one or whatever. I think it's just more so that the deal fell through with the Las Vegas Raiders. Cliff Kingsbury on the Commanders is amazing. And Dan Quinn, now as the head coach of the Commanders, I also think is amazing. So if you're going to go with a defensive minded head coach, but you have the second pick in the draft and you go out there and you get a good, brilliant offensive mind in Cliff Kingsbury, I'm taking Jaden Daniels. Now I get it. Jaden's a little bit smaller. I would also like Drake May, but I just, Jaden Daniels, I'm a little bit biased. I think, the Heisman winner, I think this guy was just an absolute unit all season. I think he's got a very bright future in the league, and I like his fit with Cliff Kingsbury. Now, the thing with Cliff Kingsbury is people like to rag on this dude. First off, Cliff Kingsbury, and a lot of people don't know this, the dude was a weapon in college at the quarterback position. Cliff Kingsbury was a hell of a quarterback. What he did with Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals, to me, is extremely impressive. And I'm always confused because, we've been talking about offensive coordinator hires specifically on my Bears channel and on my Raiders channel in the last couple of weeks since the season ended. And for both of those two teams, I'm like strongly urging Cliff Kingsbury, and everybody's, oh, don't go after the big names. Don't go after the big names. Cliff Kingsbury's overrated, blah, 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 blah. He got the Arizona Cardinals with a small ass dude in Kyler Murray. Don't mean that to be a jab, but Kyler Murray's not tall. He's not big. He's elusive. He can throw the football. He can scramble. He can do a lot of things well. He got that Arizona Cardinals team in a loaded conference. Dude, you're playing Seattle twice a year and their defense back in the day. Yeah, it's not Legion of Boom, but you're going up against Pete Carroll twice a year. You're going up against Sean McVay twice a year, and you're going up against Kyle Shanahan twice a year. And he got the Arizona Cardinals as a playoff team. He got Kyler Murray looking like a really solid quarterback, which he is. But Cliff Kingsbury is a great move for the Commanders. They have, I believe, the second most cap space in the National Football League. Terry is under contract. Jahan's under contract. I think Curtis is up. I've seen some like rumors of guys like, Michael Pittman Jr. But the point is, I feel bad for Sam Howell because I think he can whip that football. It's just too inconsistent. Unfortunate because he really only got one full season. He only got one season as being QB1 for Washington. But you got a new coach in Dan Quinn. You've got a great offensive mind in Cliff Kingsbury, and you have the second pick in the draft. And whether or not they trade up for pick number one, which I don't know, man. I still think at this point, and this opinion will probably change, I think Caleb Williams is going number one to the Chicago Bears. I don't know why they would trade that pick unless it is just an absurd haul. But from like a GM standpoint, if you pass on Caleb Williams and Caleb Williams turns out to be this actual generational type of prospect, like people are comparing him to LeBron James, and you don't pan out and the Chicago Bears don't win the NFC North next season, or they don't come close to winning the NFC North next season, I mean, questions should be arising. And so I think Caleb's going number one. But as far as who do I think the Commanders will draft, probably Drake May. But I would prefer if they go Jaden Daniels. And I do think that I've seen mocks, and I think this is pretty much going to be kiboshed here. I've seen mocks where Drake May goes number one. Caleb, I think, is the clear who you got to take at pick number one. But I think they will go hopefully with Jaden, or I think they'll go Drake May. I hope they go with Jaden Daniels. So I do think that'll change as we get closer to the draft day. Send in some questions, some comments. I got the coffee on the floor because I spill it if it's not. Oh. All right. As long as the Packers own the Bears, I don't care how good they are. So we got a couple in here. Oh, it's the same comment. Josh and Aaron both said, I hope Jeff Hardy is good. Oops. I hope Jeff Hafley is good. I understand that now. I love this hire. Boston College guy. The defense with Green Bay, it's just, and people disagree with this every time I make a Packers video and I talk about it. I still don't really understand it. I think the Green Bay Packers defense on paper is absolutely loaded. I got a really good analogy in one of my videos, my last Packers video. Um, this isn't it, but it's something along the lines of like, they're trying to find the lock. No, I don't even want to get into it because I don't remember it well. But Jair Alexander, the highest paid cornerback in NFL history at this point. I've got Quay Walker, who had a phenomenal rookie season, and then there were the two in the last game against Detroit, most notably. But he had like kind of two emotional. I wouldn't even call it an outburst. It was two emotional mistakes that ended up costing the Green Bay Packers greatly. And so there were concerns about, can he get his emotions more in check so it doesn't, uh, ruin moments like that Detroit Lions game 2 years ago. Fucking cock. And he did. And I saw no emotional outbursts from my man Quay Walker. The Packers statistically finished as the 10th best defense as far as opponents' points per game goes. But we have some interesting, like, Rashawn Gary, Kenny Clark, studs. Preston Smith, 31 years old, or is he about to turn 31 years old? Not that he gives up on any plays, but I do expect the Packers to find a new edge rusher to kind of play behind Preston as he deals with just getting older, injuries, yada, 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 money. So I do think they'll draft the edge rusher, but I think roster-wise, they're loaded. Lucas Van Ness, I think, had a really solid rookie season, especially at the end here. Let's see if we got some defensive statistics up here. Quay Walker, 118 tackles. I remember Quay Walker's pick six week one against the Chicago Bears. That was absolutely beautiful. But yeah, man, I do like the hire for the Green Bay Packers defensive coordinator. I had a tweet here. This was about I simulated the draft twice, and the Lions drafted a QB in the first round in both simulations. Then I realized that the computer is dumb. Yeah, they won't be doing that. Oddly enough, I have this tweet up for Ben Johnson related. There are a number of people around the league who are not happy with how Lions offensive coordinator Ben Johnson handled the Commanders' interview process, specifically canceling the interview while Washington's brass was mid-flight. Ooh, who really cares? I mean, I don't really care. I guess the Washington Commanders care, but I'm so glad Ben Johnson is back with the Detroit Lions, and I think it's in his best interest. Even though Washington has all this cap space money and they've got, the new ownership group and the number 2 pick, and you've got guys like Scary Terry and Jahan and, a solid running back room. First time head coach, I guess his asking price was high as it should be. He's great at what he does. And this tweet really doesn't matter. I don't think this news, I don't even really think it's news. Washington's brass was mid-flight. I think that's more of a baller move. I think that's a big ball move, and I respect it. So, yeah, Ben Johnson coming back to the Detroit Lions, and I'm very excited to see how they draft it. Since we got a draft comment, let's pull up an NFL mock draft 2024. Starting to get more into. Let's do. This works perfectly. All right, we got a Keith Sanchez website. Is this an ad? Get out of here. Come on, dude. All right. Caleb Williams, Washington Commanders trade. Chicago Bears trading down to pick number 2 to select Marvin Harrison Jr. Caleb Williams going number 1 overall. Washington Commanders. Caleb reunites with Cliff Kingsbury. That'd be pretty cool. We got Drake May going to the New England Patriots. Malik going to the Cardinals. Wow, 3 wide receivers going in the top 5. The Giants. Dude, could you imagine if the Giants at pick number 6 draft Jaden Daniels? Oh my goodness, I absolutely love it. The Bears go offensive tackle. Jets go offensive tackle. Minnesota Vikings at pick number 11, Michael Penix Jr. That would be something unique, and that's a great edit, whoever made that. Draft Network. Look at that edit. I think it's crisp. J.J. McCarthy to pick number 12. Man, I was it Jim Harbaugh who said he thinks the first pick in the draft, or I don't know if he said the first pick in the draft or the first quarterback in the draft is going to be J.J. McCarthy. I think the dude's out of his freaking mind. I have seen, like, Sean Payton with JJ McCarthy. Um, I don't personally see it, but hey, if that's what the Broncos decide to do at pick number 12, draft JJ McCarthy, that's on them. Brock Bowers at 13 to the Las Vegas Raiders. Uh, Pairing Bowers with Devontae Adams should give the Raiders a good 1-2 punch in the passing attack. Michael Mayer still exists. Interesting. Dallas Turner to the Seattle Seahawks, pick number 16. I love it. Jaguars, Keon Coleman, pick number 17. I love it. Let's get into the playoff teams. Where my pack show? We go offensive tackle. It's a good call. Uneventful, but good call. Detroit Lions. Pick number 29, Cooper DeJean, cornerback out of Iowa. This will be a no shocker. The Lions need to address the secondary. Cooper is a corner with length and athleticism that can find the football. This is exactly the type of player that fits well with the Lions culture. I love it. And there's a little mock draft. So yeah. All right, we got a quiet episode here. The Super Bowl is on Sunday. I forgot to watch the Pro Bowl. I was watching some of the stuff, some of the festivities earlier in the day. It looked kind of cool. Seemed like a really good. I loved the pass by CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud is a phenomenal quarterback. The Houston Texans' future is so unbelievably bright. But the Super Bowl's on Sunday. And on paper, man, it's just a loaded Super Bowl. Chiefs versus 49ers. If we go back to week 1, it's not really a surprise. For some reason, man, I can't get into it. And I'm sorry if any Niners fans are watching this right now. I think it's because of my hatred for San Francisco, because of the past 2 weeks, taking down my pack show and then taking down the Detroit Lions. I got all the respect in the world for Brock Purdy, though. I'm gonna be rooting for the Chiefs, man. I'm excited for the commercials. It's kind of messed up. Do we know what scoreboard it is? That's gonna be cool. But I don't know what it's been. The Super Bowl. I'm not sick of Mahomes and I'm not sick of the Chiefs because I'll enjoy it. But I don't know, man. The Super Bowl, even though on paper it's phenomenal, it's just not really doing it for me. A little weird. I don't know what you guys are feeling, but yeah, people are in outrage about Taylor Swift. It's so weird. I do not understand it at all. Grown men complaining about Taylor Swift being on television at a football game. It is very strange, very peculiar. Anyways, Chiefs by a million. I really like the offensive type. Aaron says, I really like the offensive type the Packers had because you never know who's going to make the play. It isn't like the Packers offense 2 years ago where it was just Rodgers to Adams. So there's a couple free agents on the list here at the wide receiver position. We mentioned Michael Pittman earlier ago. I had this article up that we were going to go through. I don't really like the layout of it. It's a Bleacher Report article, so it's just not a huge fan of the layout. Scrolling down to the Packers. You're dead on. And the reason I'm mentioning is because I saw something, I forget, maybe it was TV, radio article, whatever it was, about the Packers getting a solidified wide receiver, not necessarily, this big name wide receiver one. To me, that's a little unorthodox for Green Bay. I don't really think that they would go out there and, who are the NFL wide receivers for this upcoming year? Let's take it out here. Odell Beckham, awesome. All right, we'll put this up. We got an article here from Nick Gross. I will hold my opinion until we get through this, though. All right. Odell Beckham Jr., KJ Osborne, Tyler Boyd, Gabe Davis, Darnell Mooney, Marquise Brown, Calvin Ridley, Michael Pittman, Mike Evans to Houston, and T. Higgins. Jeez, man, I really hope T is back with Cincinnati sooner rather than later. I don't really think the Packers would go after any of these guys. They're definitely not going to go after T. Higgins. They're not going to go after Mike Evans. I don't think they would go for Michael Pittman. They're not going to go for Calvin Ridley. Um, I guess it wouldn't shock me if they were to try to get like a Tyler Boyd, uh, just like a solidified wide receiver 3 type of guy. But you know, I think most Packers fans would agree here. I mean, that doesn't like fully interest me. What really sucks is Christian Watson's injuries. He only played 9 games this season, 5 touchdowns, only averaged 47 yards per game, 15 yards per catch. I love to see that statistic. But yeah, 28 catches, 422 yards. I mean, he's my wide receiver 1. I think Romeo Dobbs is kind of establishing himself uh, as wide receiver 1 in wake of Christian Watson's injury. But dude, I mean, like, I got Jaden Reed, the rookie, who led the Packers in receiving yards this season. He also had 8 receiving touchdowns. He had 793 yards and 64 catches. Romeo Dobbs, 674 yards, 59 catches, 8 touchdowns. Then I have my rookie Dontavian Wicks with 581 yards. I still got Tucker Kraft, Luke Musgrave at the tight end position. I'm curious. Bo Melton, I know is a big fan favorite right now, and I would love to see him back in a Packers jersey. Bo Melton, Malik Heath, Samari Torre. You know, I guess with Christian Watson's injuries, it wouldn't be out of the realm that Green Bay were to sign somebody like this. I think it would be a little bit. I mean, Tyler Boyd and Gabe Davis, I guess I would take, but it wouldn't shock me if it was like a KJ Osborne type of guy. Let's read this. The Packers made it to the divisional round and gave 49ers everything they could handle before ultimately dropping a 24-21 contest. Awesome. Totally forgot about that. Green Bay is set to be right up against the salary cap, but it doesn't have a ton of flaring holes. Packers need to address their 28th ranked run defense, and they could use a reliable number 2 running back to pair with Aaron Jones. A.J. Dillon's injuries this year were a little bit weird. Took a little while to get going, but the Packers' passing attack was one of the most dynamic in the league by season's end. It started with the emergence of Jordan Love, yada, 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 yada. Packers didn't have a true number 1 caliber wide receiver, but pass catchers like Dobbs, Reed, Wicks, Melton, Musgrave, Kraft gave Green Bay a quality receiving core. The Packers didn't have a receiver reach 800 yards, but they still finished the year ranked 9th in new yards per pass attempt, 12th in passing yards, and 3rd in passing touchdowns. Green Bay may consider adding another young wideout to the mix just to give Love a true number 1 target. If cap space can be found, a free agent like T. Higgins or Michael Pittman Jr. could make sense. Yeah, I just don't see that happening. So, that's crazy. We got a donation. Fire in the sky. Who cares about the Packers? We'll revisit it in a second. Thank you, Fire in the Sky. Also, thank you, not Ivo. Appreciate you. I feel like national media has dropped the ball on the Vrabel firing. It needed to happen. Owner trying to bring Titans into 21st century. Do you agree? Oh, sorry. Those my elbows. You know, I love Mike Vrabel, and I actually think it's kind of a similar situation with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I like Bryce Callahan a lot. I like what Will Levis can provide me. But I do think you're right, man. This kind of I love owning the trenches, and I love Trevelyan Burks, but they need a star wide receiver. Who do they have in that mock? I do think I agree with you here. I want them to go out there and get a star wide receiver, or let's see what they're drafting. Joe Alt. Based on this mock, all the wide receivers are already gone by pick number 7. Go all the way down, all the way down, all the way down. Still no wide receivers selected. Oh, you guys can't see this. Yeah, I mean, I do think it was something that probably should have been done. I do like the future trajectory of their team with Will Levis, and I loved what Bryce Callahan was able to do with Jake Browning. And yeah, I think you're right, man. Ryan Tannehill, 4 touchdowns, 7 interceptions this season. Oh boy, I made so many Titans videos last season when they were on that hot streak. when they took down my pack show on national television. Oh, the game hurt. But yeah, I do think you're right. I think times have changed a little bit. And maybe if they had guys like, if we're comparing it to Pittsburgh, Pickens and Johnson, maybe he'd get another season. But I do think you're right. It was time for a change of scenery. I was very surprised at the time, but as the days go by and then, they hire a new coach and all that stuff, they traded away AJ Brown. The Titans, man, what are we going to do with them? That defense is still kicking ass here. What's the word with Derrick Henry? Fire in the sky if you've got any opinion on Derrick Henry. Where's Derrick Henry going to be next season? Let's take a look at the receiving. I thought DeAndre Hopkins was oh no, he is not a free agent. DeAndre Hopkins, sneaky season. 7 touchdowns, 1,000 yards, 62 yards per game. I like Okonkwo a lot. Jeez, man. Outside of, I know Trey only played 11 games, but outside of Hopkins, their second wide receiver yards was Chris Moore with 424. That's less than 25 yards per game. Only 22 catches. I liked Nick Westbrook-Akine. I still do. Still like Burks a lot. Change is coming and change is good. Jeez. Fire in the sky, blessing it up. Appreciate you, man. Still wake up tears random nights over the AJ Brown trade. It's tough. It is tough. Who are the receivers after Dunze and Neighbors? Any first-round talents in the second round? Oh, I forgot Keon Coleman I missed Keon Coleman to the Jags. I've seen mocks where Keon goes like 34th, and I've seen it where he goes like 17th. I think he would be outside of those cats, your MHJs, Neighbors, Rome. I think Keon will probably fly up. But apparently it's this super deep wide receiver draft class. So that is something to consider as well. See, let's do a different mock. Let's see if anybody else has something to say. Let's see how ESPN's doing. Oh, of course, you have to pay for it. Awesome. Yeah, that's what I was hoping for, actually. All right. Half of the Eagles roster is made out of Foreman's Titans playmakers. It's tough. All right. Can you guys see this? Bang. All right. Caleb Williams, number 1. Drake May, number 2. Jaden Daniels, 3. Marvin Harrison, 4. Brock Bowers, 5. Neighbors, 6. Man, looks like Joe Alt's going to be going to the Tennessee Titans, according to both of these mocks. Ooh, Dallas Turner at 8. Oh, Dunze to pick number 9 to the Chicago Bears. That's what I'm talking about. Let's see. Oh, man, Raiders offensive tackle is needed, but it's just boring. Brian Thomas Jr., pick number 17 out of LSU. I like it. Calvin Ridley, assume he is brought back. I would tend to agree there. Keon Coleman, pick number 26 to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Man, I'm a little worried about Tampa Bay here. Canales going to Carolina really hurt. And now Baker's got to learn a new scheme and a new system. And his free agent. And Mike Evans, I don't think Mike Evans is going to be back to Tampa Bay, but hopefully he retires as a Buccaneer. I just don't know the legitimacy of that. J.J. McCarthy picked 27 to Minnesota. That's fitting. I don't really like that at all. But, yeah, to answer your question, I would go Keon Coleman, but CBS Sports has Brian Thomas Jr. going pick number 17 to the Jacksonville Jaguars. What's up, Swaggy P Games? Jerry Jones 100% should have picked up Henry. Personally, I'd like to see him go to a team with a shot for a ring. Was it the Eagles? I know I keep seeing I've been seeing Saquon to the Eagles, Saquon to the Chargers just popped up because of Harbaugh's comment. Am I mistaken thinking Henry? I feel like I've seen some Henry to not Jacksonville. I feel like I've seen some Henry to the Eagles stuff, which man. I don't think I've ever made an Eagles video. Philly sports are it's a different breed. Different breed. Swaggy. Swaggy doesn't seem too pleased about Caleb Williams going number 1 overall to the Chicago Bears. Let's hear your thoughts. We got to get Swaggy up on one of these shows. Let's do USA Today. Okay. So many ads, man. This is a terrible mock. You're not even giving me the numbers. Come on, man. You gotta be better than that. I don't want it to do NFL.com, but here we go. All right. So many freaking ads. Caleb Williams, number 1, Chicago Bears. Jaden Daniels, 2. There we go. Marvin Harrison to the Pats. That's interesting. Dunze, pick number 4. Drake May, pick number 5. Projected trade with the Chargers. Oh, that's the Falcons. Joe Alt, man, that's 3 straight mocks where you got Joe Alt going to the Tennessee Titans. Malik Neighbors at 9 to the Bears. Whew. Caleb Williams, Malik Neighbors, DJ Moore. Whew. Man, I love Justin Fields. How does that not get you excited? So I was just in Chicago, right? And I think a lot of Bears fans are coming around to the idea of Caleb Williams. I think Justin will succeed somewhere else. I hope it's to a team where they give him the starting role or he has a good opportunity to get the starting role. I've never thought about this. Justin Fields to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Never thought of that. Could be interesting. JJ McCarthy to the Broncos. I need to go watch like a JJ McCarthy hype video and get my opinions mixed around or flipped. Kool-Aid McKinstry. Ooh, to the Eagles. It's a great pick. Packers taking an OT. Bucks go cornerback. There's Brian Thomas going to the Bills. Oh, man, I love it. There's our first Bo Nix first rounder there. Bo Nix to the Raiders. Wouldn't hate that either. Roman Wilson. Roman Wilson probably is, who was the one who said JP? Roman Wilson definitely got to watch out, or not watch out for, but keep an eye on for climb up the draft boards. Neighbors at 9 is laughable. Man, Caleb and Neighbors. Woo! Bowers at 15. Daniel Jeremiah. I do like Daniel Jeremiah. Josh Shipley. All right, perfect. That's not Daniel Jeremiah. There we go. This was 2 weeks ago. So we got Caleb number 1, Drake May 2, Jaden Daniels 3, Marvin Harrison 4, Dunze 5, Neighbors 6. Another Joe Alt to the Tennessee Titans. Congratulations, Tennessee. You got Joe Alt. It's confirmed. Jared Verse at pick number 9. I'm not I don't really know what my thoughts are on the Bears taking an edge at 9. I know it's needed. I would just love for them to go out there and get one of these top wideouts, but I understand. Bo Nix 14. There we go. Bowers 15 again. Brian Thomas 21. All right, I'm mocked out, man. I'm done with these mocks. Devontae Walker. Kool-Aid McKinstry to the 49ers. Oh, no. Can't let that happen. All right. That's really it, man. Slow time. I'm gonna try to pop these out. Once again, guys, this is available on Spotify. It'll be available on Apple relatively soon. Let's see if we got an update going on. Trying to get this up to the moon. There's really no theme. We're just kind of going. Oh, here we go. Publish. Oh, there's an issue. Update frequency. Oh, perfect. Weekly, semi-weekly. Folks, we are about to be. No, fucking blow me. There we go. Bang. Let's Talk Football is now available on Apple. And you guys are really running up these Spotify numbers. I appreciate you guys so much. Give us a rating, give us a review if you can. That really helps with just climbing up the rankings. Oh, why was that difficult? Anyways. Woo. we're gonna be doing. I want to like make this pretty interactive. Um, I got a couple of guys, a couple of fans of teams who want to come on here and pop in, give some opinions, kind of almost like the radio, which would be cool. Um, Swaggy's got to come on here. We'll get that cooking, and yeah, stay tuned, man. If you guys have any, and thank you to Fire in the Sky, everybody watching, taking time out of your day to listen to this or watch it or wherever you are, whatever you're doing, whatever the wording is for that. Appreciate you guys so much. If you have any recommendations, or what's the word where you not recommendations, suggestions. If you've got any suggestions, any thoughts, anything you'd like to see, anything you wouldn't want to see, just throw it down below, and we'll continue to feel it out day by day, episode by episode. So thank you guys for watching. We gotta hop on a Bears video, so I'll see you guys soon. Peace.